Hey, how's it going? The shop is an absolute wreck right now, but it's because I'm in the process of moving everything from the garage in here, and I'm sorting things out as I go, throwing a lot of stuff away, reorganizing things. I'm thinking about getting into eBay a little bit for a while and selling some old RX-7 parts and whatnot, but I wanted to give you some tips on how to set up your shop for the first time and get everything organized, and just shop maintenance stuff that you need to know. Mount your fire extinguisher in a prominent location, easy to get to. Know where it is. Make sure that other people who use your shop know where it is. Have a chemical cabinet where all your chemicals are stored separately from your workspace. It's okay to have a can out on the bench if it's something you use all the time. I like keeping PB Blaster on my bench, but everything else goes in here. It's useful if you have a flame in the shop, open flame. You're not going to be shoving cans out of the way in a hurry to keep your fire from spreading. So a bit of fire safety there. Have an oily rag can with a closable lid. Whenever you throw away your rags, if you just leave them in a pile, they oxidize, they can get hot, you can accidentally start a fire that way. With a lid on it, it keeps the oxygen down to reasonable level. Your rags may oxidize, but it's going to take longer, and so you won't have the buildup of heat. They won't self-ignite. Whenever your rag can gets full, you take them out, you double bag them, you dispose of them at your local hazmat place. Safety equipment. Buy it in bulk and keep it handy. I buy earmuffs more than one at a time. Gloves I stock up on. Safety goggles, man, I buy 5 to 10 pairs at a time. If I find them on sale at Harbor Freight, I load up, because if you have this stuff, if you have one pair of safety goggles and they're scratched, you're going to be taking them off to see what you're doing. If you have one pair and they're in the shop and you're in the garage, you're not going to use them. Stock up on safety goggles, keep them everywhere. God only gives you one pair of eyes, He only gives you one pair of ears. Take care of them. I have tinnitus. It sucks. Wear your hearing protection. Wear your gloves when you're using grinders and stuff like that. I can't tell you how many times it took me to learn that I need to wear gloves whenever I'm dealing with stuff that's hot or stuff that's spinning really fast with abrasive discs on it. Wear your PPE. God only gives you one body. Take care of it. Hey, look, there's safety goggles. Hey, another pair of safety goggles. Wow, more safety goggles and earmuffs. Safety goggles and earmuffs. Safety goggles and gloves. If you have it at hand, you'll use it. You need waste oil buckets. I've got 2 5-gallon buckets that I can load full of my waste oil, and I can just pack these up and take them to O'Reilly's and dump my oil. Nice big spouts. You need it. You don't want to be dumping that stuff on your lawn anyways. I also have a couple buckets that I use for antifreeze. Rags. I've got a bin just full of rags that I use here in the shop. Old sheets get used as cover for, if I'm painting stuff or if I need to mop up a big mess. I've got socks, I've got jeans, I've got towels, whatever in the house gets old and used up and we don't want to keep anymore, comes out here in the rag bin, and I've got rags handy. Hardware buckets. I've had these for years. I put bolts, washers, nuts, everything I can divide up. I dump them in these buckets. And if I need a washer on the fly, I can dump this bucket out and sort through it and find what I need real quick. Saves me time and money going to the hardware store. If I take apart something on a car and it's not going back together, the hardware goes right into these buckets. Every time I go to the junkyard, I always get the attaching hardware to whatever bucket I'm getting, or to whatever part I'm getting. And if some of the hardware is damaged, I have spares. If not, it goes in the buckets. And lo and behold, I was watching an Uncle Tony video a while back, and he's got the exact same buckets under his bench. It's the best, one of the best tips you can have for working in your shop. Keep the hardware. Get a rolling cart. It's useful for loading up with tools if you have a job to do. You can just wheel it over here to the toolbox, put everything on it, parts on it, take it to wherever you're working on your project, and you have everything at hand. You don't have to walk 10 feet to the toolbox. You know, if I'm working on the Jaguar, I don't have to walk back and forth all day long. I'll load up tools, I'll put it right by the side of the Jaguar, and I'm good to go. At the end of the day, every day, clean it off and get rid of the tools, get rid of the parts. I'm not always the best at that, but it makes a difference. Sharpies. Buy them in bulk, because you're always needing to mark stuff so that you don't forget what it's for. Maybe you need to mark where you got to make a correction on something. Sharpies you got to have handy. Buy them by a dozen box, and throw them in your drawers, whatever. I don't have any in there, but have them handy. You'll use them. Same thing for tape measures. I've got tape measures everywhere because I can't ever find them when I'm looking for them if I only have one in the shop. Matter of fact, I can't find them even when I do know where they're supposed to be. But keep plenty of tape measures. You'll use them. Does the wind keep blowing around your trash cans? Well, here's a quick tip that you'll never regret using. Old brake rotor. You put it in the bottom of your trash can doesn't float around in the breeze. So you see this big pile of buckets here? I got these buckets from a friend of mine who owns a restaurant, and he was giving my daughter the trimmings from the salad bar to give to her rabbits. And as she used up the salad bar throwaway, I kept the buckets. It's great for scrap metal. I have some buckets for some other stuff, but whenever I fill up one of these buckets with scrap metal, I just put a lid on it, and then I get the next bucket out. And it makes it easy to transport my scrap metal to the scrap yard. Shelves. You're gonna need them. Don't have piles of parts. I'm working on getting rid of this pile, but you want your stuff organized to where you can find it. I had a lot of my stuff thrown in the garage for years, and as I'm cleaning it out, trying to get everything out here, I'm finding stuff that I didn't remember that I had. If I had it organized on shelves, I would use it more often. So find a place for everything, put everything in its place, and it'll take care of itself. Are you going to have other people using your shop? Post your rules. If you have, your kids, your friends over, put your rules there. That way they can't say they didn't know that, you wanted this done this way. You have it documented. Shop stereo. You've got to have a shop stereo if you're going to be spending time out in the shop. I've got one speaker here, then I've got a couple mounted up in the corners of the shop. And whenever I'm out here working, I can turn the tunes up. If you're a music aficionado at all, having music play while you're working makes you more productive.